Countless lives all around the world were touched by former President Jimmy Carter. And as we look back on his life and his legacy in the days following his death, it's really impossible to overlook the special friendship he shared with a boy named Mattie Stepanek, who had a terminal illness. Now, his mother, Jeni Stephanek, is joining us live now with more on what really turned out to be a life-changing friendship. So, Jeni, good morning, and it's so good to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you too. Thank you.
So let's start at the beginning here. You had this son, Mattie, an extraordinary boy who was drawn to former President Jimmy Carter. Why was that?
He first became aware of Jimmy Carter when he was about 6 years old and working on a school project, and he had chosen peace as a topic. And I remember him saying to me, he read a newspaper article that it was about a peacekeeping mission that Jimmy had done in someplace in Africa. And what struck Mattie was that when he was asked, what do you have to say about your success, about the peace that you've negotiated here? He said, Mommy, what Jimmy Carter said is, look what these people have chosen for their country. And he immediately was drawn to Jimmy Carter because he said, he's humble. He's purposeful. He's really trying to create peace, not just be known for creating peace. And it just began. That was when he was 6. And by the time he was 10, he knew everything about Jimmy Carter. And then he had the privilege and the blessing to actually meet Jimmy Carter and become a collaborator and a close confidant with him.
You know, in that moment that you mentioned, that actually happened on Good Morning America, and I believe it was a surprise to Mattie, right? So how did he feel?
Yes.
What did he say about the opportunity to meet the man who was a hero to him?
Well, one of Mattie's 3 wishes, children with life-threatening conditions are often asked, what are your wishes? And wish foundations try to grant them. And one of Mattie's wishes was to talk peace with Jimmy Carter for 15 minutes to make sure he was doing it right, because Mattie aspired to be a humble peacemaker like Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter found out about this, and in the spring of 2001, when Mattie was 10 years old, he made a phone call to the intensive care unit and had that 15-minute conversation. And basically, Jimmy was expecting a young man, a child, to talk to him about presidency and peanut farming and what it was like to be a dying child. And instead, Mattie really interviewed him about peace.
Wow.
So at the end of it, Jimmy said, can I call you back? And they exchanged phone numbers, and the rest is kind of history. For many months, they talked by phone. They wrote emails out the wazoo. And then Good Morning America surprised Mattie when he was doing one of his appearances for one of his books being published. Jimmy Carter walked on the set, and I believe it's one of the only times I've ever seen my son speechless in his life, because he was so shocked and humbled that President Carter would want to actually take time and meet him in person. And that actually shifted their friendship, and they became colleagues, and they created a book together. Jimmy Carter has helped me establish the Mattie Stepanek Peace Foundation. He became my dear friend after Mattie died. He delivered the eulogy for Mattie's funeral 20 years ago. And he and I became very dear friends in the last 20 years. And I'm going to miss him terribly.
Of course. And I want to talk more about that, because, you know, obviously the relationship that President Carter and Mattie had is just incredible. And it's so amazing to hear you talk about that, and for us to see the pictures and in the video clips as well. But I think it's so fascinating that the relationship continued between the two of you. You've even said that he helped you to get over the grief of losing Mattie, and you've lost 4 children in all to this terminal disease, a form of muscular dystrophy. How did he help you to get through your grief, Jeni?
Well, for people who don't know our story, I did not know I had this condition when I was giving birth to my children. I have adult onset. My children inherited a mutation, infant onset. After Mattie passed away, he was the last of my children, and my condition started getting worse. I was dealing with the grief of losing all my children and Mattie, who was my best friend. And Jimmy began calling me and writing to me, and he really helped me find my purpose in a world beyond being Mattie's mom, how to miss Mattie, but take what I missed about Mattie and put that forward in life as a gift to other people. He really helped me become Mama Peace, which is who I'm known as now. He helped me with the creation of Mattie's Foundation and with helping that foundation grow across time. When he and I went through cancer at the same time, he got my chemo schedule, and every day that I'd have chemo, he would call me on the phone and say, "How's my sweetheart? You know, you got this.
Wow.
We're going through this together." I spent a couple of years living in Georgia as right down the road in the next city from him. We worked on peace projects together, enjoyed friendship together, went to church together. He is a man that I know everybody says he walks the walk, talks the talk. I can't say that enough times. When you hear faith, compassion, humility, acceptance, love with Jimmy Carter, those virtues and more are authenticity. He
Embodied
is
it,
the real
lived
thing.
it. Yeah, no doubt. I do want to extend condolences. I can tell that you're sharing with us about a dear friend, and it's really obvious the relationship that the two of you shared. I want to go back really quickly. We're out of time, Jeni, but give us where we can learn more about this foundation that you created for Mattie. What is it called, and where can we learn more?
It is the Mattie Stepanek Peace Foundation, and people can visit our website, mattiespeacefoundation.org, MATTIE, mattiespeacefoundation.org. Thank you very much for that. There's a letter from Jimmy Carter from a couple of years ago where he's encouraging people to support the foundation.
Jeni Stephanek spending time with us this morning, sharing about her son Mattie and the relationship that both of them shared with former President Jimmy Carter. Jeni, thank you so much for checking in with us today. We sure do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.